Released in the summer of 2004, Escape from Butcher Bay was one of the most unique video games of its time. Indeed, it was one of the few movie tie-in games that didn't utterly suck. Poorly made video games and action movies are pretty synonymous with each other. In the early 2000s saw a number of these generic games released, but Escape from Butcher Bay offers something entirely different to players while still retaining a familiar feel. I would never have imagined that a game based on a film series would receive as much critical acclaim as the shooters such as Half-Life or Doom 3. Considering that this game was released on the Xbox the very same year as Halo 2, one has to wonder how Escape from Butcher Bay gained the praise it did while at the same time competing with similar shooters on the Xbox. The original Xbox, and I mean the original Xbox, probably had one of the best collection of first-person shooter games to ever come out. The Halo series comes to mind, along with Doom 3, Brothers in Arms. I mean, these games probably defined the console and garnered the biggest fan base among FPS fans to this day. But the game I want to highlight as an absolute gem is one of which really no one discusses anymore. I'm speaking of the Chronicles of Riddick Escape from Butcher Bay. This game combined fast-paced action associated with first-person shooters while at the same time gracefully incorporating elements of stealth gameplay. Most importantly, Escape from Butcher Bay was one of the few successful movie licensed games ever made. Along with starring and featuring the likeness of action movie star Vin Diesel and a few other notable actors, Escape from Butcher Bay stood out for its impressive gameplay and original story. Within this Smoky review, I will examine what makes this game still one of the best first-person shooters of all time. This is Bob of Smoke and Fiend Productions, and this is a Smoky review of Escape from Butcher Bay. Butcher Bay Prison, a vast industrial maximum security facility located God knows where in the distant future. This labyrinth of immersed proportions and dusty air serves as the main antagonist within Chronicles of Riddick Escape from Butcher Bay. The objective is for our anti-hero Riddick to escape this facility, a task not so easily done considering the number of cameras and auto turrets found everywhere. Not to mention the numerous guards always on watch ready to blow your brains out with DNA encoded rifles if you get out of line. Hey, real fast, are you a fan of actor Vin Diesel? It seems like he's mostly famous for the Fast and Furious films. However, he's been in a fair number of great films, such as Saving Private Ryan or the XXX movie. But few people are fans of the Chronicles of Riddick films, where he starred as Richard B. Riddick, the notorious criminal known for his skills in dealing out death and mayhem. Vin Diesel, a well-known gamer, had a large role in the development of Chronicles of Riddick Escape from Butcher Bay. Escape from Butcher Bay was co-developed by his own Tygon Studios, established in 2002, and Starbreeze Studios around 2003. And yeah, like most movie tie-in games, the game was originally intended to be a loose adaptation of the Chronicles of Riddick film that would come out soon after. However, the title of the game will prove otherwise, as the objective is to escape from Butcher Bay. Richard B. Riddick made his first appearance in the science fiction horror film Pitch Black in the year 2000. And while not being a particularly good film and receiving mediocre to average reviews, the film did a good job in establishing Riddick as a notable anti-hero. And the acting performance of Vin Diesel solidified the actor as one of the upcoming action stars of the turn of the century. Escape from Butcher Bay would be a prequel to the events of Pitch Black. After the initial cinematic where Riddick recounts the story of how he got his famous night vision, we cut to a scene where Riddick is being transported by bounty hunter William Johns. Yeah, Johns, the same morphine-addicted bounty hunter who was posing as a law enforcement officer in Pitch Black. He's once again transporting Riddick across the galaxy, and they arrive at Butcher Bay. So far, all is calm.
You haven't collected on me yet, Johns.
You don't move until I say so.
Well, at least until Riddick decides to crack John's neck and hop into the sewer. Yeah, this game doesn't waste your time. In this brief section, we learn how Riddick controls. I admittedly don't play a lot of stealth games, but out of the few I played, stealth is much easier in this one. More so than, say, Metal Gear. So, you then acquire a gun and start blasting some guards. There's something to say about the lack of an overhead display that you would find in most first-person shooters. There's no map nor visible health bar, and when you equip a gun, your ammo counter is on the weapon itself. Overall, this makes for a pretty immersive experience. So, you must think you're done, right? Well, no, it was all a dream. And you soon get the proper introductions to Butcher Bay Prison from Warden Halsey and his second-in-command, Abbott. Welcome to Butcher Bay. There are a lot of significant details that makes Escape from Butcher Bay a great experience. I will try to cover all of them here, along with noting any complications I had while playing. For one, the environment of Butcher Bay itself. As I stated before, this place is huge and imposing. Like real life prison, the aim isn't to reform people, but rather to punish and dehumanize them. In Butcher Bay, you have to be careful not to start fights in front of security cameras or even throw a fist by accident. In order to complete objectives, you must travel across a considerably big map that organizes Butcher Bay into sections. And while there isn't too much backtracking, sometimes I would get lost and would have to refer to my objective screen. I really enjoyed the fact that you could freely roam around the prison complex. And what's great here is how the environment of Butcher Bay can implement free roaming while at the same time retaining a claustrophobic feeling of being incarcerated on the inside. This feeling is heightened by the security cameras and auto turns ready to fire on you, and the massive security box will stand around important doors. Secondly, the inmates. If you are expecting generic NPCs like every other game you played, forget it. Each fellow inmate is equipped with their own voice lines and even have a few objectives for you to complete. A number of objectives are completely optional, and you don't have to complete them, but I still urge you to try as they are still fun. In the first section of the prison, you're tasked with killing an inmate by the name of Molina from prisoner Wyman and Caleb.
What are you looking at? Go play with the twins or something. Oh, hey, wait. You're that new guy, right? Wanna do me a favor?
I don't do favors. But tell me anyway.
Listen, the moment Molina's lockdown expires, I wanna see him dead. Dead and killed. That's what I want you to do. You come back to me when he's dead.
You can kill Molina and earn a pack of smokes from Wyman, while at the same time getting the code to a future door from Caleb.
Thanks for wasting Molina. This is for you.
In the second part of the prison, the mining section, you have the chance to earn another pack of smokes by poisoning another prisoner, Banks, who owes money to Mother Goose. You can find poison by killing the prisoner who ambushes you on your way to the feeding ward. As for the main missions, they are spelled out pretty clearly. On your first day in Butcher Bay, you have to take out the Aquila gang leader, Russ. And once you do that, another inmate and former guard, Hanley, will provide you with information on how to escape through the pit and get to Pigsville, where the space hangar is located.
Haley says you owe him.
He should get that money from you, Riddick. You screwed my bet on Rust when you downed him.
You screwed yourself by betting against me.
Soon after I do this, I get one of the prison hacks to let me into the infirmary and kill the 2 guards stationed there. After that, I retrieve a scalpel from a locked door using the code I got from Caleb. And after escaping into the pit, I fight some random pit dwellers in the dark until I stumble across a few flares. I follow the flares and meet Pope Joe, a former inmate who lives underneath the prison and survives by trading with security guards at night. He gives me my night vision and I'm off. And from here, my massacre of the prison guards continues, until finally I get to Abbott himself.
Who is it?
Oh, snap!
Dude, you got fucked up by that old ass man.
In the second part of the prison, my main objective is to get a private meeting with Abbott in the interrogation room, where there are no cameras. You have the option to A, compete in the organized prison matches, or B, just purchase some drugs and get caught with them. If you go with A, you can earn a lot of extra money. Simply talk with the inmate Centurion and he'll arrange some private fights for you. You can arrange matches by paying him $5, and each time you win, you receive $20 back. And this money could then be used to buy a few items you'll need. Mainly a vent tool, which can be purchased from inmate Monster, who can be found in the feeding ward. If you choose B, well, go talk to Two-Tongue, who will be more than happy to sell you some drug contraband. After defeating and killing Abbott, Riddick escapes into the mining area where he has to find Jaeger Vance, an inmate who is also trying to escape. He gives Riddick the objective to blow up a gas-filled area in Butcher Bay in order to cause a big enough distraction to make for an escape vessel. Within this middle part, be prepared to backtrack around Butcher Bay, It's here where the gameplay gets really intense, and once again you're eliminating guards in every room while trying to avoid those big security bots. By completing these objectives, you can earn rewards like cigarettes or UD money. Talking to fellow inmates also helps you learn more information about Butcher Bay and how to complete important objectives that advance you. And this is where Escape from Butcher Bay really stands out. The developers really set out to put you, the player, in several difficult situations like Richard B. Riddick would face in the movies. Third, the action, mainly stealth action, is implemented quite well considering that this is a first-person game. At the time it came out, there weren't a lot of stealth first-person games, at least none that I can think of anyway. Riddick was known for his ability to see in the dark, and it's how he was able to survive in pitch black, and it's what gives him an advantage in this game. Butcher Bay is a large complex with various dark areas and electrical failures. Using the dark environments in crouch mode, Riddick can sneak up behind enemies and deliver killing blows on command. Now this isn't always easy as the enemy AI is sophisticated, along with being equipped with flashlights that can spot Riddick. I can't tell you how many times I died trying to stupidly charge a guard headfirst with a club or shiv. Yeah, don't do that, you will take damage and probably die. And this does add another layer of challenge to the game and forces you to really think smarter about each situation. It's also a reminder that Riddick is still human and has his limitations. Overall, gameplay is enjoyable and rewarding. But there are a few issues that I encountered along the way, such as the direct fighting. Maybe some people will disagree, but fighting to me in this game is kinda awkward. I found myself really just flailing punches back and forth with the occasional block performed. There is a way to counter enemy punches, but it doesn't always work. And when fighting those difficult opponents like Abbott or the prison guard Bam, the fighting can get really weird. The only other problem I had with the game is the fact that it was way too short. It took me around 3 days on easy mode to actually finish the game, but that's just me. I probably only play for about 2 to 3 hours of video games a day, for the most part. Some days I might play 4 to 5, particularly if I'm on summer break. But the average gamer could beat this one in 2 days, maybe 1. The short length of the game is a minor complaint, but still there was a chance here to provide Riddick with some more backstory. This could have been done by having an extra mission or 2 unlocked for finishing the game. Back in 2004, plenty of people complained about the lack of online multiplayer. However, plenty of other FPS games by then had already dominated the online scene. I don't think Tygon or Starbreeze would have been able to compete with the likes of Halo 2 online.
Oxy. It was just a matter of time I was going to bring Riddick back to you. Nobody steals my property from my house, Johns.
In retrospect, I would say that it was the right idea not to include multiplayer, as that would have taken away from the grand design of the game. If you needed more of a reason to play Escape from Butcher Bay, then how about this? This game has a number of notable stars who provide voice lines. Obviously there's Vin Diesel, who by this point was synonymous with the character of Richard B. Riddick. Not only did Diesel lend his own work, voice, and likeness to the game, he also had a large hand in writing the story and lines for Riddick. And the fact that he was also a fan of video games and wasn't just in this game for a paycheck is something we can all appreciate. Some other notable voice actors in the game are rapper Exhibit, who lent his voice to the head prison guard Abbott, and of course Ron Perlman, who lent his voice to the prisoner Jaeger Vance. And how about Walter Schultz, the very same actor who played Murdoch on the freaking A-Team. In this game, he provided the voice of Warden Hosey. And lastly, a voice actor who, while you might not know immediately, will sound familiar to most people. And that's John DiMaggio, the same actor who played Bender from Futurama and Marcus Phoenix from Gears of War.
Bam's dead. Riddick killed him in the ring. Hey, prisoner. Show yourself. Inmate Lucy.
As someone who didn't grow up with an original Xbox, I definitely regret not playing this game when it came out. Escape from Butcher Bay truly was and still is a classic first-person shooter game that we can all appreciate. Few licensed video games based on films are hardly ever good or worth playing, but without a doubt, Chronicles of Riddick Escape from Butcher Bay is one of the few and rare examples.